everybody. Welcome back. It's Kicks Over Coffee. Andy Polk with FDRA for the latest episode of my favorite show on YouTube, Kicks Over Coffee. Not just because I am one of the hosts of the show, but because I do love kicks and I do love a good cup of coffee. I just ordered, I don't know how many bags of beans from one of my favorite stores in New York that was doing a sale. So I'm super excited to get that shipment in and keep my caffeine high, just ever upping. I'm sure my doctor does not want to hear that, but that's the pleasure of life, right? So with that, I'm really excited to have our partners back on the show today from Volumental. I think most people know Alper. We've spoken many times, but I'm really excited to see them growing, not just their offerings and their value to the clients that they serve, but also growing their team. And I'll just remind you, Volumental is a company that does a lot of really great stuff. A lot of people know them from their foot scanning capabilities, so the fit side of things, so looking at the data, but also tying it into inventory, and a lot of great retailers have been using that. One of those is Fleet Feet, and I think that's a good introduction to Brent Hollowell. Brent, welcome to the show. I just want to get your background because we were talking beforehand when we jumped on. You've been in this industry for a long time, working with footwear brands and companies, and now you're working with Volumental on the data side. Can you just quickly share your journey, your shoe story? Sure. People can understand.
Yeah, I have been involved. Thanks, Andy. I have been involved for a long time, much longer than my young countenance would belie, probably. But I started selling shoes in a Foot Locker store back in the '80s, believe it or not. And it's funny, we were using the old steel Brannick device back then, and when I started at Fleet Feet, about 3 years ago, we were still using that thing, and we bought on the Volumental technology to kind of change things up. But from the Foot Locker days, I mean, I was there pre even a footlocker.com. That was back in the days we were trying to figure out, should we sell online? Can you even sell shoes online? And what does that look like? Moving forward to my days at Adidas, I headed up marketing in North America for Adidas, and we did sell shoes online. We actually started selling shoes online when I was there, and it was a question of how could you do that? And so it's been an interesting journey for me over the last 3 decades or so, watching how technology has changed sort of the face of our industry, where we were back to asking questions like, how can you even sell a shoe online, to now how do you sell a shoe online but not have to buy 4 to get 1 that fits, right? And so that's really what we're excited about, is we're bringing in some technology. Because I can assure you this, I don't know a lot, but I do know this. This industry is not going to get a consistent shoe sizing scenario going. That I believe. And so, but since we have computer vision and we have artificial intelligence, we can put those robots to pretty good use to kind of reverse engineer this whole thing and bring fit to consumers out there in a way that's not, the industry is just not going to be able to do, because of all the reasons we all know.
Yeah, and I think people, because we always ask, someone's always asking, like, why can't we get consistency in size? And it's like, because brands, think their fit and their style is part of their intellectual property and their branding, right? So like they don't have an incentive to do that at all. So we'll continue till the cows come home to have that problem around fit. So you were most recently at Fleet Feet, and I know Fleet Feet uses the Volumental scanners throughout the stores in the U.S. And has a great effect on reducing returns and tagging those inventories. So what made you take the leap from working at Fleet Feet, which is a growing company, into Volumental?
Yeah, so I mean, when I actually left Fleet Feet like September last year and started my own consulting business, and which I had done for like 10 years in the middle of my career when my kids were young and stuff. And I was talking to I knew Alper and the team, and kind of knew what they were doing, and they decided that they were kind of the next big foray for them, besides their great technology, is to sort of bring it to the world in a bigger way. And from a marketing sense, they were looking for someone that had that footwear kind of industry background and marketing background to bring onto their team. And I just love the product. I was saying earlier, it's like, reminds me of that, if you're old enough, you remember the old Hair Club for Men ad in the US, where the guy liked the company so much he bought it. Well, I didn't buy it, but I did join it. And because I do like the product a lot. And I think it's different enough that there really is, there are more people coming into the market. And I just think retailers don't quite understand what Volumental does, and the kind of the power of, matching those 3D scans. Anybody can go take a 3D scan, but matching it to point of purchase data at an individualized level, and then mashing those two together to create really solid recommendations and future personalization is amazing. And
Yeah.
so they have that space kind of, wound up, kind of tied up in stores. But now, Volumental wants to layer in things like the mobile experience. And so all retailers are struggling, like, how do I bring the omni-channel experience alive? We kind of do it with payments. We have payments figured out. We have shipping figured out. But Volumental really created this category I'll call fit tech, and you have fintech, and we need a fit tech category, and we need retailers to understand that you can actually bring fit tech into your ecosystem, and very soon we'll be able to make that an omni-channel experience. And since Volumental's at the sort of the vanguard of that movement, I thought it would be really interesting to join the team and see how I could help. But they have amazing. I've always said, like, fitting shouldn't be rocket science, but it's nice that we do have some rocket scientists on the team that can help us get there.
Yeah, if people don't remember, Alper was a rocket scientist looking at trajectories
Right.
of things going into outer space, and
Yeah.
maybe it is rocket science that we do need to like fix the fitting.
Well, I think the guy who helped, envision, the Mars helicopter and all that kind of stuff, who's sitting right here with us, could speak to, this better than we could. But I mean, I think that is quite interesting that the stuff of Mars rovers and self-driving cars can be bought into the fit space to help us with this ever-present issue that has never gone away, and move us away from those steel contraptions in stores onto something.
Yeah. So Alper, we talk about this because we, even last year at the start of the pandemic, we were doing a webinar together, and we were talking like the keys to e-commerce, and especially buying shoes online, is reducing the friction to purchase, right? So it's like dealing with payments. So now we see a lot of companies spreading out payments. We see a lot of companies like reducing the clicks that you need to get on there. It's a little bit smarter than what it was. So the sites are getting a little bit smarter, but what, from your vantage point, when you're talking to folks, what are some of the remaining challenges and issues, both around fit, but just around data too?
Yeah, I mean, you said it well. I think we're at a point when it comes to those aspects, like how many clicks does it take you to buy something or like get it delivered and so on. At some point, the law of diminishing returns kicks in, right? Like, sure, things continue to progress. Maybe in the future you will like blink and buy, or like think and buy. I'm sure there is the next, the next Afterpay or the next PayPal is maybe going to be based on that. And instead of same day delivery, we're going to have drones delivering it to your hand, to your palm or something. But there's this law of diminishing returns, right? Like, you go from one click pay to, 2 click pay to 1 click pay to like think and pay and so on. So I think that what remains a challenge though is everything else still. And that is really the bulk of the shopping experience. It's not the buying that's the problem, right? Like, the buying is like, yeah, you enter your credit card, you just like sign on the dotted line, click here, and then you bought that thing. But the experience of shopping and understanding how this shoe is going to fit you, this apparel is going to look on you, and so on and so forth, that is what's missing. And that's still, you can't do that online. And that is why I think FitTech is just going to be a no-brainer stack in the stack that you have. Like payments, you have to have a payments solution, a gateway, and you're going to have a FitTech solution for your e-commerce and other channels. So so I think that's I firmly believe in that. And as you said it, at an age where we're flying helicopters and on other planets, I think we're going to figure out the sizing issue. Like, I feel pretty confident about that. As a species, we're going to find a solution to this.
That's good to hear. Some people are always concerned about that, right? Because I think you're right. You can mature the website to where it looks better. You can spin shoes around. You can have you can reduce it down to where you know exactly what the shoe's going to look like when it shows up, but the fitting's still the issue. So it's good to hear you guys talk about it's closer than ever before to getting it more accurate than
and I mean, think about that. Like, we're buying 4 boxes, we're returning 3 of them, we're shipping millions of boxes back and forth. The rest goes into landfills. Like, it's just archaic. Like, and entire huge companies have been founded based on the premise of working working around this, like Zappos, right? Their whole thing is free returns. Oh my God, everyone, lost their minds. Free returns is like the biggest innovation. And it was for a while, but that now is like the MySpace era of e-commerce. We need to, we can't be just like stuck there, right? That is like the Web 1.0 era of e-commerce. Like, oh, I'm just going to buy 4 boxes and return, what doesn't fit.
And by the way, being a retailer in that environment all that time, that was a great business model. If you were a private equity backed pure play e-com retailer like Zappos, that's a great business model because you were all about the customer and what's great for the customer. But it was never great if you were a brick and mortar retailer trying to do e-commerce business or even a normal e-commerce business. It was never a great proposition to do. So, I mean, and that's why I think it's so important to solve that issue, because it's a huge resource suck from your customer service department handling, fit returns, and your warehousing, your inventory is unproductive during that entire journey of things traveling on trucks back and forth between warehouses and stores. And on top of that, just what is it doing to the customer experience as well? I mean, the customer has to go do something with those extra pairs as well. So it's just that, in addition to the sort of the systemic sort of like environmental damage that's happening because of that, is there's enough reasons there to fix it, and there's enough ability to fix it that retailers should be looking at this fit tech stack. And so I think
because I mean, we talk a lot about sustainability in our industry, and we're focused on materials and construction, and the return aspect and the CO2 emissions that we have is very real, and people are trying to solve that and think about that. And I think fit, we talk about durability of shoes being very sustainable, keeping them out of landfills longer, second life by donation, but just generally getting better shoes that they last an extra couple of months is sustainable. Fit fits into that as well, right? So if we can get the fit right, then people know what it is and they don't have to buy extra pairs and ship them back. I think that's a great story for retailers to think about around that. Alper, where are we at right now? Because I know you guys have been working for a long time around the science of getting the fit right, and you've developed a lot of tools. People can go into the store and scan, and it looks at the foot and gets the whole kind of scan of that foot and attaches it to the inventory in the stores to help the sales associates know in real time. But now we've got, our recent survey was something like, even after, we can return to stores, and in the US, we're slowly seeing different pockets of America returning back to normal shopping. And even after that, 50% of consumers, even elderly folks, will be buying shoes online. So how are you guys looking at that now in terms of tackling that in real time, of saying, okay, I know there's, and we'll tease it up, but you got a mobile app coming, and I'm just really excited to hear what that mobile app is and what the capabilities of that will be, and how that's going to help footwear retailers.
That's a very good way of putting it. So I think I see it. There are maybe two, 3 different sides to this. I mean, first of all, this means that you have to make people go out into stores. You need to give them a real experience, because otherwise they have no reason to actually visit your store. And I think the stores are not going to go away, but they will have to be much more experiential. There has to be something in it for the consumers beyond just getting the thing. And that's where we help with the retail solution, with the retail experience. When it comes to the e-commerce part, then I think where the thing gets like magical, the virtuous like data loop starts kicking in, is when you can then use that data and the insights from that, recommendations, size recommendations, fit recommendations, understanding how a model fits people with high instep or widths, different widths and so on in the e-commerce environment. And tying those two together is not like 1 + 1 = 2, it's 1 + 1 = 4 or 5. Like that is the effect that it has. And we are seeing that with when we do, for instance, customer outreach campaigns and using the data from the retail scanners. It's really having a powerful effect. When it comes to the mobile, I think that is like the final, in the Avengers, there's this like the Infinity Stone, and you put the final gem on the gauntlet, and it's just like, and mobile is that like final piece that that completes the circle. And you're right, we've been working at it really, really hard, because we want to actually provide an experience that is unlike anything that's out there, that is super smooth, super easy. Just like our retail scanner, it's just like one button click and that's it, literally, and it gives you accurate results. And to do that, we've been hard at work building, computer vision algorithms, machine learning algorithms, iterating on the UX. And that is going to be being launched in a month, I think. We're going to have that launch. So very, very excited about that. Yeah, I mean, it's something we've been talking about for 6-7 years since we started the company.
Right.
It's been in the plans, but we want to do it. We don't want to just you bring out a piece of paper and you step onto it, and then you do some Aikido moves, and then you need to, and so on and so forth. And to get that, to make the experience that simple, you have to build, it's a trade-off between technology and experience.
Right.
So yeah.
So it's almost there. That's great. So it launches in June 2021. And will that allow, when it launches, have you guys already been testing this out with some of your retail partners and looking at what they want built in, and what is the feedback from them, just to kind of, let's build a buzz a little bit, right? We got the coffee buzz going, so let's build that. So what's some of the feedback from some of the partners?
Well, a lot of excitement. So we won't give away too much, but on June 9th, there is a June 9th event. So if any of the listeners here would like to reach out to me, Brent Hollowell or Alper, on LinkedIn, and we can give you the information to the invite. If you're not already on the invite list, you should be receiving an invite within the next week or so. But we've been beta testing this with partners. We've also given a sneak peek to other people who are looking at other solutions, and everybody's super excited about what Alper described, this sort of the scanning experience, and making it very sort of seamless and intuitive, versus having to do a lot of work and backflips and stretching into contortions that aren't quite natural. But beyond that, I think what's exciting about Volumental bringing it is it's not just another foot scan that then the people are taking like size charts or last measurements, but it's tied to our whole existing ecosystem that is about connected to purchase data. So as you think about a fit test stack, I don't think as a retailer, I didn't really want to have a bunch of fitting things that I had to cobble together myself. I'm looking for a kind of a plug and play solution. And that's what I think is most exciting for us, is we are able to start with that in-store really solid base. And now we're just putting layers in. So now the mobile layer comes in, and that interconnected data, view of the customer, single customer, because you're not going to have, you're going to want to have one view of one person, not, 3 different systems talking to this one person. So you're really getting omni-channel versus multi-channel kind of connectivity with what we're doing. And so I think that's really exciting. That's what our customers' feedback is really that's exciting. And those emails we're sending out are some of the best performing emails that they have, because we're saying, hey, Andy, we have 5 new shoes in, and that we think you're going to like. And by the way, you'll see that some of them are a size up or a size down from what you've typically done, because we know enough about you. And so, it's really exciting. And we'll talk more about it on June 9th, but
that's awesome.
Good feedback.
So we're getting to the point where the fit is becoming personalized, customized. I think a lot of companies have some of the personalized data about what the consumer may like or what their viewing history is, and tying it all in. And that's what I like about Volumental. I call it data wisdom, right? Like, we need to be data wise, like not just collect it. And we talked a little bit about this out there, but not just collect it and hoard it, and then try to cherry pick what you want, but like making sense of the whole picture is really hard. And I think Volumental does a really good job of tying that picture together in many different ways to help the retailer think a little bit better about the marketing, about the product, and making sure that fit happens. So again, June 9th is the launch date for that. I'm super excited about that. Before you guys go, and keep working hard at that launch work, because I know this is not easy stuff. 6 years, 7 years of technical development coming to fruition. So maybe on June 9th, you'll be popping champagne, but right now we're drinking coffee. And I'm a big fan of dark roast coffee, as many people know. I don't know how many cups of coffee a day you guys do, but I'm 6 or 8 a day, maybe. Depends on the day.
That's solid.
What about you, Brent?
I'm a dark roast man too. I don't put anything in it. I just like the pure dark roast. So this is a nice Sumatra. It's in my Hydro Flask cup. I'm not sponsored by Hydro Flask, but I do only drink about 2 a day. I sip my coffee, so I need it. I like a regulated temperature. So this thing keeps it, really hot for a couple of hours, and that's what I need, because I don't drain them like you do, Andy.
Alper, what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, we do drink a lot of coffee here in the Nordics because it's, you need that to get through the winters. But I have my, whenever I'm in the office, I have espresso shots. Yeah, that's what I like to do before I get down to work on, something hard or something just like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Little shot of courage there for you. A little shot of an intel right there before you start making the robots again. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been another edition of Kicks Over Coffee, where we have casual conversation about the footwear industry. This is a really important conversation because of several important things that came out of this. The sustainability of fit. We don't talk about that too much, but it is very important. Tying it all together, the holistic look at fit and value play to the consumer, super important. But now we're getting to the point where I think more and more shoes are being, obviously Instagram and Facebook, people are finding shoes in different ways and looking at different product. And now Volumental is going to be helping retailers with the launch of this new mobile product that they're going to have to make it even better in terms of reducing that friction to sell, so we can sell more shoes and see less returns and see our money grow. So with that, again, June 9th is the launch date for their mobile app. I hope you guys will join that so you can find out more about the future of footwear fit with Volumental. And gentlemen, thank you very much for joining. And I can't wait to see the launch of that and see the continuation of y'all's great work for our industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. It's been a pleasure, as always. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. And until next time, keep listening to the Shoe and Show podcast, shoeandshow.com. And if you want to, you can subscribe to this channel, the Kicks Over Coffee channel, and you can get updated every single time we launch a new video. We try to do new videos every several weeks on different important topics for the industry. And again, just casual conversations. Hopefully you learned a little bit today and are excited like I am about this new launch. And until next time, please keep buying kicks and please keep drinking coffee.